Hello and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sport for today's Springbok press conference reaction. So, Jacques Nienaber has named a side for this weekend, which includes the return of Andre Pollard in a number of changes, in fact, 12 changes to the starting lineup. In fact, only Jasper Wiese, Sia Khaleesi, as well as Ibn Etzebeth actually keeping their spot in that starting 15. So it's a brand new team that will take on Tonga, and they don't know what they need to do. They need to get 5 points, go there, get the bonus point, qualify for the quarterfinals, get ourselves sorted, and then we've got 2 weeks to prepare for that quarter, and that's when the World Cup really ramps up. Those knockout games, playoff games. 3 games, you win 3 games, and you've won the tournament really. So it gets quite hectic quite quickly. Now, unfortunately, we weren't at the press conference because the Boks are currently back in their base in Toulon, and we're currently sitting in Lyon. So we don't have the press conference. Unfortunately, we will have their Eva match press conference on Saturday, as well as their post-match presser. So fear not, that will be on the channel over the weekend. But he has given the press conference, and we do have some quotes from it. And so we can go through exactly what he's had to say. And we'll also be hearing, talking about what Willie Roux and Marvin Orie had to say. So before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. In terms of the team selection, he said, if you look at the team selection, 13 of the players that played against Ireland are playing in this test match again. So that shows you how important this game is for us and how much respect we are treating Tonga. If you don't give them respect, it can become a slippery game. He was then asked about Andre Pollard, where he warned people to not expect much from the fly half. He says that's why we went with a 5-3 split. If you look at Andre, he hasn't played top-level club rugby since the first weekend of May. I think it's about 19 weeks ago. And in 19 weeks, he's only played 30 minutes of club rugby, and that was in the Premiership Cup for the other night. There's a good possibility that we would struggle to get through an intense game. A good probability that he might cramp up. That's why we went with the 5-3, and we have Money on the bench just for cover. In terms of the ask him what he expects from me, he says, what do I expect of him? A realistic performance. I think that's where we must all stay in the reality of it. He hasn't played for the Boks in 13 months. He last played in the last week in August 2022 for the Springboks. He hasn't played top-level club rugby since the first week in May, which is 19 weeks ago. In saying that, he is a quality rugby player, and we all know that. He's won a World Cup before. He's won a British and Irish Lions series before. So he understands what international rugby and top international rugby is about, but I think we must stay real in that and give him time to settle in and get used to the pace of it. He was then asked about the goal kicking, for example. He said that in that 13 months that Andre wasn't available for the Springboks, there were 60 matches and we won 75% of those. We lost 4, and of the 4 test matches, we lost 2 against Ireland, who are the number 1 team in the world, and everybody is struggling against them. They haven't lost a test match since the one against New Zealand in Auckland. Then we lost to New Zealand in Auckland this year, and the other test match that we lost, where those 2 guys were steering the Springboks and driving the team, the number 10 jersey, was against France in Marseille, where we got the red card. In 3 of those test matches, it was very close. Even the past one against Ireland, up to the 78th minute, there were 2 points in it. Yes, we are not consistent off the tee, but the guys that stepped in, I don't think they did a bad job. He was asked what concerns him more than the goal kicking, which he replied saying, in the game against Ireland, we had 4 opportunities within 1 meter of the goal line, which we butchered. 4. That, for me, is a much bigger issue that we have to sort out. You can't get yourself within 1 meter of Ireland's try line and then you butcher 4 opportunities, which is a very good point at the end of the day. 11 points missed off the tee, 100%. We lost by about 5 points. 4 times we probably could have scored. If you got one of those 4, 25% success rate, within that sort of final meter, you then go on to draw the game and potentially, get the conversion, 7 points, win the game. So, yeah, it is definitely fine margins. And I definitely think that, the place kicking is not the only issue that we need to worry about. He was then asked about Antoine Dupont, because all the French journalists are going into every single press conference and asking all the foreign teams about the French team, which is a bit weird. He was asked about the possibility of Antoine Dupont making a quick return from injury. He says that it's good if top players make it back. Like Andre made it back now. I'm glad for him. Like Vitalik is making it back into the New Zealand side. I'm glad for them because they've worked hard. They've sacrificed a lot. Their families have sacrificed a lot. So I always feel good for the individual. I'm always glad for the individual and for the fan, because the fan also wants to see the top players playing in a World Cup. So that's basically what Jacques Nienaber had to say. In terms of what Marvin Orie had to say, he just asked about the inexperience of Deon Fourie and Marco van Staden and the pressure that puts on the line. And he said, I wouldn't say it's pressure. There's specific shapes and throws that Deon can throw very well. Marco as well. We try to find the shape and the cause that they feel most comfortable with. Myself and Soos, Franco Mostert, and Archie, together with the coach, we try to figure out what cause would be best. He was then asked about the physicality of Tonga, and he says, of course it's going to be a physical match. We saw when we were doing analysis some of the collisions against Scotland and also against Ireland, there were some big collisions. Of course, there's some big guys. Ben Tamafuna, who's the captain, he's also close up to 150 kgs, if not more. It's going to be a good challenge, but also for us, we don't shy away. So I think it'll be a good match. And then finally, Willie was involved as well, and he said, in terms of facing Tonga, he said it's knockout rugby this weekend for us. Tonga's going to be a brutal game. There's some big boys there. In terms of the goal kicking, he says, I just look at what Marvin does for us on the field. The attacking, how he creates space for guys, the cross kicks, the long passes over the top, scoring tries. For me, I don't look at that, the goal kicking. I look at the positive things that he's done for the team. We all back him, and we all back everyone who has to kick. He was then asked about the speedos that Fat de Klerk obviously sort of set the trend, saying people love Fat because he's got the nice blonde hair and you can't miss him. People catching on to it and loving it. He was then asked if he owns a speedo, and he says, I'm an old man, I don't wear those things. So, yes, sounds like it was an interesting press conference and nothing else. But yeah, that's what the Boks have had to say about the Tonga clash this weekend. We'll hear more from them throughout the week as we start to build up towards what is virtually like a playoff game for the Boks. You know, you win it at the bonus points, you go into the quarterfinals, we win the next 4 games, we win the World Cup, basically. That is the reality, you know. And after Sunday, we've got 2 weeks to prepare for either a New Zealand or a France. And then after that, it's 3 games in a row, 3 weekends in a row. You win 3 games, you win the World Cup, you bring it back to South Africa, which will be absolutely epic. We'll be on the ground this weekend down in Marseille, so a lot of cool content coming your way. Make sure you smash like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll chat to you soon.